Good evening. We have one speaker prior to the council meeting starting, and that's Mr. Larry Heinrich. Mr. Heinrich, you have 3 minutes. If you would, you speak there at the mic. Chair, would you ask him, please? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm requesting a repair extension on one of my rental houses on 1408 West 13th.
Okay. Have you had extensions, sir?
No, I have not.
You have not had any
No,
extensions?
they sent me a letter and said that I missed the P&D meeting or whatever that is, and that I would have to come to the council to get an extension. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Sucker, is Ms. Ruth available?
She's in the office there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, she'll speak during the council meeting regarding that.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's all I need? Okay.
Yes. Unless you have anything else to say.
Well, I mean, I did get a permit, and I didn't complete the project in the 30 days.
You did get a permit?
Yeah, I did get a permit.
Okay, and you didn't complete it in 30 days?
Right. Then I need an extension, and she said I didn't make the P&D meeting, so that's why I'm here asking for an extension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to speak during the council meeting? Yeah.
But if you want to, tell us what you want to do, he might not have to wait.
Okay, Mr. Hines purchased a repair permit for 60 days. He did no repairs. He bought the permit trying to sell the house. And it's, you know, it's a house that's in,
Is it on,
it's on the condemnation list. He has had one opportunity. He's had more than one opportunity. This house has been on the list before, and we took it off. And he rented it out, and now it's back on the list again. Once the person that was living in the house complained about it, we went back out and looked at it and sent him another notice. And he came in, got a permit, did not do any repairs. He said he wanted the opportunity to try to sell it. And that time has expired, and it's back on the list.
Any questions of Ms. Ruth?
Ms. Ruth,
Yes,
I'm not gonna say anything, but you know what, you know how I feel right now, don't you? Okay.
feel good, Glenn.
Okay, I'm not gonna say anything, but you know how I feel right now. Thank you.
Question about some people on the decision in 30 days, it runs out, and they got to buy the permit back on the same project that they're working on. How does that operate?
Well, first of all, permit is based on the amount of work that they do. If it's a house that's existing, normally we give them 60 days, 60 to 90 days to repair it. Depending on if they've made any progress, determines whether or not they get an extension.
So if you don't work on it at all, you don't get an extension. If
You know,
wanna work
there
on
are
it-
circumstances if you've been in the hospital or,
Right.
you know, stuff like that, we consider all that.
So his letter that he had was to meet last Tuesday.
Well, he was aware to come to the P&D committee,
Right.
but he just thought someone else was gonna take care of it for him.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ruth. Okay, that's the only speaker. Hey. May we have a roll call, please, Mrs. Whitfield?
Alderwoman Holcomb. Here. Alderman Drummond.
Here.
Alderman Eastman.
Here.
Alderman Stell.
Yeah.
Alderwoman Walker. Alderman Boyd.
Here.
Alderman Brown. Here. Alderman May.
Each of you have a copy of the minutes from September 14th, 2012. It's been moved and properly seconded that the minutes of September 14th be approved as presented. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposes? The motion carries 8-0. All righty. We're going to move on to committee reports. Mrs. Holcomb, if you would, take us to ordinances and resolution as committee chair.
Ordinances and resolutions met prior to the meeting. We're going to, number 1 through 4 has been pulled. Okay, number 5, we will complete. Number 6, we will complete. Number 7, we'll do it read it for the first time. We will complete number 8, and we will complete number 10, and number 9 has been pulled. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Brummett, if you would, take us as Ways and Means chairs to the financial adjustment, sir.
Okay, Mayor, the Ways and Means Committee met prior to the meeting, and we have a budget adjustment that was in everybody's packet. There's letters attached and justification attached to it. The funding needed to replace the humidification system at the Arts and Science Center to meet the American Association of Museums reaccreditation standards. The total amount of the budget adjustment is for $51,500. I'd like to ask Dr. Schultz if she would please come forward and explain to the council the need and for this. Tell us what the money's going for and the reason, and
Certainly.
please.
Certainly. This is for a humidification system. It's part of basically the heating and cooling system. And the long and short of it is, when we have a collection such as the one that we have at the Arts and Science Center, our burden of care includes that my grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren, and on for the next 100 years, that those artworks will still be there for them. As a result, one of the standards of care includes, well, for example, right now if it gets really, really dry and the foundation of your house cracks, or if it gets really, really wet and things get too damp, we cannot have those extremes. We have to keep things where it's always a perfect humidity environment and temperature environment. That addresses the actual technical aspect of it. Might I add a few more words as far as why it's important? The fact of the matter is, we are an accredited institution with the American Association of Museums. There are fewer than 800 museums out of almost 18,000 museums in the United States that have earned that distinction. In fact, Crystal Bridges has not even been in existence long enough. They can't even apply for it yet, and yet Pine Bluff, Arkansas has an accredited museum. The reason why that's so important is we have to uphold the highest standards of care in terms of the collection, and that's the request you see before you, in terms of how we manage our affairs, and in terms of how we serve the community through education. And because our feet are held to the fire to the highest national standards, we, of course, know what we need to do at that level. It means that not only do we serve our community, it means, for example, the Kevin Cole exhibition that's coming in, we had to fill in a document that was about this thick from the Georgia Contemporary Museum of Art, because one of Kevin's pieces is within their collection. They would not have allowed that piece to travel to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, if we weren't able to uphold those standards of care. So what happens is, because we uphold those standards, it means that we can bring cultural, educational, exhibitions and education to our citizens because we uphold those standards. May I address any other questions?
Are there any questions?
Well said.
Thank you.
What I had was the difference, and you explained that with the taxes. as
Yes,
far as
sir.
the bid process.
Yes, sir. The bid process didn't yet include the tax, and we added the tax to the proposal. May I answer any other questions?
Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because everybody, the letter, the bid was actually $47,080, but when you add the taxes required, which have to be added to something like that, the total is $51,500. And you can see where the money's coming from. It's coming from within departments that have funds available. Won't be any impact on the overall budget or from undesignated funds. So I move we accept this budget adjustment.
Second.
Excuse me, been moved and properly second that a budget adjustment in the amount of $51,500 funding needed to replace the humidification system at the Arts and Southeast Arkansas Arts and Science Center to meet accreditation standards for the American Association of Museums. Are there questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposes? The motion carries 8-0.
Mayor, I'd
Thank you,
like
Dr. Schultz.
Excuse me.
No problem.
Mayor, I'd like to ask Stephen Miller to come forward, please. We have had a big project going on within the city to save money, and I'd like for Steve to review that and the results of it.
Okay. You may recall in 2010, we replaced our 20-year-old phone system, landline phone system, with a new system. The objectives were to get some new features like voicemail and conferencing and to improve our productivity, also speakerphones. But we projected our monthly cost to be the same with the new system as the old system. Tricia Childress worked with us on the installation of the system and the reducing our cost of redundant services through AT&T. Mrs. Childress is a long-time and former employee of AT&T, and she brings her unique knowledge to that process. And working with us over a year, she was able to get our bill down by $32,000 a year that we will continue to save. And I know that from a commercial standpoint, from what we paid for, no one would have put in that kind of time to help us save that money. I think Mrs. Childress did that because she's a citizen of Pine Bluff and wanted to do the best thing for our city. And I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the mayor and the council that was achieved through her efforts.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi.
I think he said it all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. City of Pine Bluff was a customer of mine while I was with AT&T for, well, we won't say how many years, 29 years of service there, but I was an account manager since 1990, and I retired in 06. And I knew there was a lot of things that could have been cleaned up just simply because of technology changes.
Yes.
So when I retired from AT&T and I had over 100 emails saying, oh, no, you're not, nobody else cares about us, I decided to go into consulting, and so that's what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it, loving it. So, yeah, it's a labor of love.
Yes.
And you're welcome.
Let me say, she's done a tremendous job in helping us with our systems and delivering the productivity and the functionality that we need. So thank you, Ms. Childress. Thank you. All righty. Mr. Brummer, is that it?
I move that we pay the bills that the city owes.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. It's been moved and properly seconded that the bills of the city be paid. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposes? Motion carries 8-0.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Alderwoman Walker, Economic and Community Development?
No report, Mayor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Public Health and Welfare, Alderman Mays.
Sir, Mayor. Once again, I really need some help with the unlawful dumping in the 4th Ward as well as the city of Pine Bluff. Now they're dumping tires over on Short, on Hemlock and West Short 3rd in the ditches. And over on Roan and Bush again, we steady cleaning it up, and they're steady dumping. I'm asking you all to suggest that we put cameras in those areas and send a statement to these people that you can't dump in Pine Bluff. I mean, really. Also, for the citizens who've been, I gave a lot of this number requesting the city or the neighborhood to be sprayed for mosquitoes. Mr. Mark Townsend at the Health Department, you all can call him with the citizens. His number is 535-2142. His extension is 232. That's Mark Townsend. He sprays for mosquitoes. He's doing it now, so if anybody wants their neighborhood sprayed, you can call him at the Health Department, 535-2142, extension 232.
When did they start, do you know?
They started this year a little earlier than they normally do because of the mosquitoes, yeah.
Well, that's why I'm giving you the number.
I've not seen them any this year, that's what
Yeah.
He's been spotted, trust me.
Yes.
Spotted.
In the 4th Ward.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I said I did not have a report, but I need to recognize Mr. Don Sampson on his retirement. Mr. Sampson, would you step forward, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We want to recognize you and thank you for your years of service. We won't say how many, maybe they'll think that we had child labor. But you may say how many years if you like.
31.
31 years.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, we thank you.
Thank you.
I was disappointed when tell us how old you were.
Don is now embarking upon another career where he'll be working for the Pine Bluff Housing Authority. So Don, good luck in your future endeavors. Thank you. Okay. Alderman Mays, that was it for you. Public Works, Alderman Boyd.
Well, I don't have a report per se no more than we met last Wednesday and today also concerning the police lane. I guess, Madam Chairperson.
You can go ahead.
We'll be scheduling a meeting in the future
Yes.
where we will discuss this matter further.
Yes.
Present it back at the next council meeting. And we'll schedule that next meeting.
Okay.
That's it for me, man.
Thanks, sir. Alderman Steps, Development and Planning.
Mayor, we had a meeting, and I'm asking for the full council support on item number 6, and I'd like to complete it. This is concerning the rezoning of the property on West 38th, and we have Mr. Victor and his staff here. If we want to wait now, I want them to come on and share with us now what they share with the committee.
We'll probably wait during the vote.
Wait.
He can come up there. Yeah,
We'll wait.
if
I'm
needed.
asking for
Do pass.
do pass
Okay.
full council.
All right. Thank you, sir. All righty. Next, we will have Traffic and Aviation. Mr. Brown.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, just one other thing, we did have a meeting concerning item 5 on there, and we would recommend do not pass from item 5 from the committee.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, Ms. Hogan. We're heading into item... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mr. Easterly, Administration.
No report, Mayor.
All right, sorry. Mrs. Hogan, Public Safety.
Okay, ditto to what Reverend Moore said.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I was going to say, Ms. Hogan, if you would, please read the presentation of proposed ordinances and resolutions.
Okay, I have an ordinance amending sections 29-2 and 29-63 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting fencing and screening requirements for automobile salvage, wrecking or junkyards, establishing a grace period for such establishments to come into compliance with city regulations, and providing for a penalty for violations up for the second reading.
An ordinance amending sections 29-2 and 2963 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting fencing and screening requirements for automobile salvage, wrecking, or junkyards, establishing a grace period for such establishments to come into compliance with city regulations, and providing a penalty for violations.
Move to suspend the rules and place the ordinance on third and final reading.
May we have a roll call, please?
Alderman Hope.
Aye.
Alderman Brumman.
Aye.
Alderman Easterly.
Aye.
Alderman Steph.
Aye.
Alderman Walker. Aye. Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Brown. Alderman Mays.
An ordinance amending sections 29-2 and 2963 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting fencing and screening requirements for automobile salvage, wrecking, or junkyards, establishing a grace period for such establishments to come into compliance with the city regulations, and providing for a penalty for violations.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and probably seconded that an ordinance amending section 29-2 and 29-63 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting fencing and screening requirements for automobile salvage, wrecking, or junkyards, establishing a grace period for such establishments to come into compliance with city regulations, and providing for a penalty for violation. Floor is open for discussion.
It's my ordinance. I'm asking for your support because this will make our neighborhoods in the fourth ward look a lot better, all over the city, the ones that got a salvage yard. We must understand in the fourth ward, most of your dumping is in the fourth ward, your liquor stores, your cemeteries, pawn shops, ditches, salvage yards, clubs. Let's work together to try to, I've given them, it's a 300-day window, and now that's almost a year to help them, to work with them to fix the offenses, the salvage yards in the city. Now, a lot of the people in the fourth ward, and I agree with them, you know, the ones that asked me, and I was gonna do it also, so I was gonna do it when I first came up, but I finally got to it. If you ride around the salvage yards in the fourth ward, they look a mess. I mean, you wouldn't want that in your neighborhood. And then they got dumping along the side of the roads and some of them also. I'm just asking to work with the salvage yard owners to put new fencing up, wood, metal, as long as it look good. I mean, if you all, anybody on that side of town in the fourth ward and look at that, they would really be like, what do y'all think? What are we thinking here?
I have one question. Why was cemeteries put in that list?
We got everything in the fourth ward, really.
Was there anything, is there anything negative about a cemetery?
No, I'm just saying. I just gave a list of what we have over there. Right, versus the other wards in town. But my focus right now is the salvage yard.
Well, the cemetery stuck out because we're in the funeral business.
I understand. I know you're in the funeral business. Forgive me. It's positive. I'm glad we got them because we got people coming in there and then they stop and buying gas and, you know. But my focus right now is the salvage yard.
Okay.
And I'm asking you all ride around the town. You all see how the fencing is. I just want to work with the owners. You know, not just over on 6th Street, 2nd.
But sir, you want to give them a grace period of 300+
Well, I mean,
days?
you can short it. I mean, whatever y'all want to do. I put it out there for you all to work with me now. It's not to just, my thing is help make the area look better. We have deer woods over there and everything, squirrel woods inside the community, and the salvage yards are embedded around inside the community. People ride by them all the time. I think if you ride by, I mean, you would want to try to help the people if they can't afford a fence. I don't know what, but that's why I brought you to council.
Yeah.
To get you all opinion. May I finish? To get you all opinions and to help me to try to make the town look better in those areas.
I would like for, Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
for the committee that recommended, you gotta tell us why you recommended it or not.
Come on up, let's hear.
Because we actually all want the same goal. We want,
Right.
So I think it's a reason why.
Yeah, we can't help private businesses with.
You already have an ordinance in place pertaining to this that says that all salvage yards should be in compliance with fencing. Within the past year, I've been sending notification to all the salvage yards that the city collector's office has told me has been in existence and that Ms. Ruth identified for me. So since this time last year, I made my first notice with these people, and I've been to the Planning Commission on their behalf and asked for metal or vinyl fencing because it's a cheaper type of fencing, the kind that Smith used on Blake Street. And so I've been working with them already, and I have some of them that have already agreed and began getting the material and have even come in and got permits to do the fencing. So it's something that I've been working on and have been in the process of doing for a year, and I've been working with them. I've gotten a cheaper form of fencing approved for them. And actually, this ordinance, if you do what is being asked to be done now, you're gonna set me back a year in progress because I already have the people working with me on this, and they've all been notified. So I've been working on this for a year, and I've done some things to make it feasible for them to do their fencing, and we're in the process of getting it done. But the ordinance exists already and requires the fencing.
Yes, sir.
According to what I understand, if we were to do this, I mean, we've already got something in place. If we were to do this, that would start their whole process over, and then they'd have another 300 days to do something.
Yes.
So it'd actually delay what we're trying to do and getting the yard straightened up.
It would impede any progress, and I don't like the fact that I have already people working on their fencing, and to give others 300 days, and I've already got people committed to doing it, will not be a good thing.
Mr. Berman?
Mayor, I just want to commend the efforts of the department and really you for the efforts that we've put into trying to resolve some of the issues over there. I think we've made a lot of progress. There's an attitude over there now that they are going to cooperate. I've heard that from the owners, that they are trying to get in compliance more than, I've been on here for 14 years and I've never seen as much positive things going on in this regard. And I do not want us to do something that's going to sit in this way.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been working with them, and it took a while to get where we are, but most property owners and salvage yard owners, wrecking yard owners are now to a point where they realize that they do have something to do, and they must do it within a particular time period, so.
You know, all that sound good. A lot of things that always sound good, but you all gonna live in that neighborhood where those people live at, and that's the main thing. It's just the citizens that lived over there who are just want us to do a little bit more. I mean, all that the talk is always good up here. It always sounds good. It's propaganda, and we'll be doing this another 3 or 4 years. I mean.
I said what I was going to say. Let me say this. They said it couldn't be done with the one on Blake Street. And you look what happened. We got out there, we worked with them. And it looks good out there. And it didn't take us no 300 days to get it to this point. And we have an ordinance out there that we put out there then, and it's working. And to go back and undo some things that has already been done is not going to be fruitful. We are trying to work with them. We are trying to work with them, and we understand that. But I don't want it to sound like that we as a council here are not trying to work with the people in those communities and neighborhoods and trying to get some things done. These people want that blight out of there, and they want it out there as quick as we can based on what the law and the regulations said. But if we go back and get another additional 300 days, are we helping the people in the community? Are you trying to say that the people that have these junkyards need the help rather than the people in the community? They don't want that in there. And that's what they told me and told us at that time. We went out there, we worked with the property owner, and as a result, you can see what is happening. And we're doing the same thing with the one that's out there now. And we're gonna get it done, but we can't get it done by if we start all over and get them another 300 days, and we've come this far. We don't wanna go backwards.
I know we've said a lot, and I don't want to just keep belaboring the point, but Alderman May, a lot has been done. And a vote against this particular ordinance is not voting against you and the idea that you have about cleaning up. I will tell you that more has been done in the last few years. I can tell you from personal testimony. The first time I addressed this council over 24 years ago, because I was elected in '88, but I started serving in '89, we were talking about Smith Wrecking Yard. That was 24 years ago. Up until a few years ago, nothing ever happened. Smith Wrecking Yard was a platform. Everybody ran the 4th Ward, talked about the ditches and Smith Wrecking Yard. Nothing was done. Mr. Smith, the deceased Smith, told me that he was not running a dress shop. He was running a junkyard, and he wished I would quit talking about it. But we continued to talk about it, but nothing was done. What year was that, Mr.?
And that was about 4 years ago.
Okay, until 4 years ago. Nothing was done about it, so we got to give credit to whom credit is due. We talked about it 2 decades, and it finally got done. Now if you run in the 4th Ward, you can't put that on your platform. because it's being eradicated, but that was the talk of the town. Smith reckoning. Fill the ditches in the fourth ward, fill the ditches in the first ward. So a lot has been done. And a vote against it doesn't mean we're voting against you. I want you to take it that way, because I can't support the ordinance because something is being done.
I understand. It's my job to help the citizens over in the area and the business owner to work with them. I'm a lawmaker. Now, I have a right to create laws and change them. I'm a lawmaker. We all agree? Previous question. Back to the time frame. I'm 50 years old. I've been like that 50 years. I don't know how old some of you all are, but there's got to be some kind of stopping point to it by working with them, and that's all I want to say on that.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All righty. Are there any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion fails for a lack of a fifth vote. Thank you, sir. So,
Okay, we have an ordinance providing for the rezoning of certain territory in the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, for the second reading.
An ordinance providing for the rezoning of certain territory in the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Move to suspend the rules and place it on third and final reading.
may we have a roll call, please? Oh, sorry. Second. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Holmes.
Aye.
Alderman Brumman.
Aye.
Alderman Easterly.
Aye.
Alderman Steph.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
Aye.
Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Brown. Alderman Mays.
An ordinance providing for the rezoning of certain territory in the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and properly seconded that an ordinance providing for the rezoning of certain territories in the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, particular RPUD 38th and Ohio. Floor is now open for discussion.
Mayor, we had a meeting and it was a due pass, and I had a gentleman, particularly in his organization. I would like
Yes.
him to come forward and share with the full council what they shared with us.
Thank you, Mr. Steps. Mr. Mayor and full council, we're standing before you today in reference to 38th and Ohio. We're humbly requesting that this body approve the rezoning of that area. We're looking to develop 67 lots, of which 65 will be 65 units of single-family housing developed on those particular lots. 45 of those lots did not meet the standard of 7,200 square foot. And so as a result, that's why the request for the rezoning for the RPUD has been placed before you, and you guys are voting upon that. Due to time and financial limitations, we're having to move expeditiously with this, being that all of these units have to be built out and placed in service by December of 2013. With that said, that's a very aggressive schedule that has to go forth. So with that being the case, that's why we're humbly requesting that you suspend the rule and the third reading and approval of this. We believe that that particular area, 38th and Ohio, is a very mature neighborhood, that the citizens and the residents have done a very good job in keeping it. And we propose, what we're proposing develop there, we feel very comfortable that it will work very harmoniously with what's there now. And again, it will also provide the citizens of Pine Bluff and Jefferson County with a wonderful option as it relates to housing. We understand and we feel that there is a housing need based upon a market study that our firm had brought forth, that there is a need for quality housing in Pine Bluff. And with that being the case, we certainly believe that this development will certainly place us in the right direction on bringing forward quality, energy-efficient housing for the citizens of Pine Bluff.
Okay, I applaud your efforts of doing that. We need some new housing stock. And as Mr. Mays said, in the fourth, that is in the first ward. I'm not really territorial, but when something happens in the first ward, that's good. When something good happens in Pine Bluff, that's good. Mr. Ficklin is a native of Pine Bluff, so his heart and dear and true.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes, it is.
I think that's something great to have some new houses now.
Alderman Holcomb, we certainly hope that we can work with this body with a tip that this won't be the first development that happens here.
Are you going to build 65 units between now and the end of December of 2013, is that what you said?
Yes, we are. We have a general contractor who is on our team who's been tasked with that, and we're actually in the middle right now of doing 55 units in the city of Jacksonville. And I think after, 7 or 8 weeks now, we have
We're about 45% complete. We'll be through and all the units placed in service by the end of this year. Probably start moving people in the latter part of next month, and we started about 7 weeks ago.
With that being the case, Alderman Brown.
Is this through federal funding, or how are you going to?
Private and federal funding, yes. Yeah,
One thing that I did think about is that these people are going to be made to, not made to, but keep up their property, because there's a lot of nice property adjacent to this. And sometimes those people will get fearful that putting in housing that would devalue their property. So I'm sure that there's some covenants that these people are going to have to.
Absolutely. There is a management agreement with a professional management firm to manage these units, as well as there is in place policies and procedures that will require folks to maintain their properties at a certain standard. And if they choose to be non-compliant, I think as Mr. Mays was getting with his concerns about what's happening in the 4th Ward, then this is not an option. Then you relinquish your opportunity to reside in one of those homes.
Will this be purchase or rent, or how are you?
The first 15 years of the compliance period, they will be leased or rental properties. After that, the partnership has an option that they can continue in that current state, or they have the option then to place on the market for sale. But again, as you can see in your packet, there are some policies and procedures put in place that are very specific as to what's to happen and what cannot happen. There's a very arduous screening process for individuals have to go through prior to being approved, as well as there will be market rate units where folks of all income levels can and will be asked or marketed to, that they will be able to live in these properties. Folks like yourself, Mrs. Holcomb and Mr. Mayor, who make tons of dollars to live in one of these properties. So, again, there's...
Do you have a bodyguard?
No, just my son, whom you taught in the 7th grade.
Yeah, I did. I did teach his son. His son is in college now.
Yes, ma'am. He's in college at Tennessee State, aspiring to get to medical school.
All right. Well, one more question. Will the neighbors have to sign on to this? Will it be?
When you say sign on to this,
Okay. Once the neighbors find out there's going to be some housing, but if they object to it, what does that mean? Anything?
I hope that we have done the appropriate things in terms of been to the planning committee and invited neighbors out. And those who did show up and come out, there was no adverse objection to it at all.
Very good, because we need some affordable housing.
Again, all efforts were made to make sure that the product that's being developed can and will work appropriate in that neighborhood and will be a first-rate product.
So the bottom line is you had a public hearing?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. Okay, are there any other questions, Mr. Fickler? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Which one, number 6, right?
You ready to vote?
Yes. All in favor of the motion of an ordinance providing for the rezoning certain territory of the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, please let it be known by saying yes.
Yes.
Let it be known by
yes.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries 8-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Man, y'all need to be going somewhere trying to start on them houses.
Trust me, he is soon.
Yeah.
I'm out the door now.
I think so. You going to start right now?
I'm gonna get some mud on my shoes.
Yeah.
Complete for number
That was 6.
7? The way you said
7
it.
we'll read first.
Okay.
Okay, we have an ordinance to close a portion of the alley located in Block 18 of Eureka Heights Edition, number 4, between West 13th and Lee Street, northwest, up for the first reading.
Whereas a petition was duly filed with the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas to close the alley within Block 18 of Eureka Heights, Edition Number 4, and
Place
where...
it on the calendar.
Place it on the calendar. Okay. All right, thank you. All right,
So we just gonna read it one.
number 8 now.
Okay, we have a resolution directing the city clerk to publish notice on the public hearing on closing of an alley located within Block 18 of Eureka Heights Edition, number 4, in the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Whereas a petition was duly filed with the City of Pine Bluff to close an alley within Block 18 of Eureka Heights, Edition Number 4, whereas state law requires that a public hearing be conducted by the council on said petition so that all persons desiring to be heard on the question of closing said property may appear. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the Pine Bluff City Clerk is directed to give notice of a public hearing to be held at 5:30 on October 15, 2012 in the council chambers in the Pine Bluff City Hall on the question of the city vacating and abandoning the following alley within the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to wit, an alley located within Block 18 of Eureka Heights, Edition Number 4, also described as being located between Grant and Lee Streets between West 12th and West 13th Streets in the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Said notice of public hearing should be published once a week for 2 consecutive weeks in the newspaper of general circulation within Jefferson County.
Move for adoption.
It's been moved and properly seconded that a resolution directing the city clerk to publish notice of a public hearing on closing of an alley located within Block 18 of Eureka Heights, Edition Number 4 in the city of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposes? The motion carries 8-0.
Have a resolution declaring certain houses, buildings, and/or structures as nuisances and ordering their abatement.
Whereas the City Council has determined that...
All right, Mr. Steps.
I'd like to amend that motion to remove the abatement for 2 properties that we have before you.
Yes, sir. Okay, all in favor of the amendment as presented to you? I think all of you have an abatement resolution. You have copies of it? Yes. All in favor of the amendment, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposes?
Move for the original as amended.
All in favor of the original as amendment, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposes? Motion carries 8-0.
And discussion in there. What about Mr. Hammond? We never gave him a solid answer on what we're gonna do for him.
Right.